Okay, I think you're on. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
What about now?
Now I can hear you.
Hey, girl.
For some reason I had to like admit you into the room.
Oh, that's really weird.
I've never had to do that before. I don't know, it must be. I'm gonna go check the settings.
Yeah, that's really odd. I don't know.
This one's acting really weird. It won't even let me minimize the screen because it says I'm recording, which I've recorded lots of times and it's let me minimize the screen. Okay.
Yeah, who knows?
But I'm glad that it worked.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Let me make
excited.
sure. Okay, yeah. So it says that it's happening right now. Okay.
I know. I'm wondering if it's working for other people or not.
Yeah. Well, I don't like I couldn't I hit the chat button and then it said admit or deny for you to come in. And let me check the settings because I think I didn't add like a passcode or anything. That's really weird. Okay. Well,
Weird.
hopefully a lot of dang it. Let's see. I think Katie said that she'll be here in 5 minutes because she is putting her son on the bus.
Oh, good. I know Jessie wants to get on, my partner. She wants to get on too, but I think she's trying to get her baby down for a nap.
And then Tiffany is driving to a meeting, and I know Ashley's in a meeting too right now.
Cool. Okay.
I'm gonna
I'll
post.
follow up with Jessie and see if she's going to be able to hop on or not.
Okay, I'm gonna post in the group again just to make sure that.
I think Jessie's going to get on, but she might just have her baby with her.
Oh, that's fine.
Yep, she said she's coming.
Okay.
Yay! I'm glad you'll get to meet her too.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, people don't have issues. And now I have the chat up, so I guess whenever Jesse comes on, I'll see if it says the same thing about
Okay, cool. Yeah,
denying.
she just said coming now. So we'll see. And then I'll be able to see her too, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, everybody, as long as they turn on, I think I have it on the setting where anybody who joins, it's muted and their video's off just because I don't want people being like, I'm on video, and then they like freak out because I've seen that in other groups happen. They're like, I didn't know that was gonna be on video, and they just
Oh,
like
she
panic
just said
in your face.
she just said I haven't even brushed my hair, and I'm like, girl, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I'm having to admit people. Okay, so hey, Katie, can you hear me? Which you might be muted. You might have to unmute yourself if you can hear me. Okay, so I just have to keep an eye. There we go, an eye on the chat box. I have to admit people. Okay, I've never had that happen before. Okay, if y'all can hear me, your mics and your videos are turned off, so you can turn your mics and your video on, or just your mic. It doesn't matter, whatever you feel comfortable with. Oh, I can unmute y'all. Okay. All right, we're about 10 minutes into this. I know, I'm glad that y'all are getting on now since nobody's having problems now. Honestly, this is just super laid back. Ask questions, hang out, brainstorm together. I know just, dang it, it won't let me minimize this. Okay. Not Jessica. Ashley asked a couple questions yesterday, and I was just going to go over them with everybody in case y'all missed them. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, Jessica. Okay, so
Hi.
hi. Good morning. Um, we are just getting started. I didn't know that I was going to have to admit people into this room, so I'm having to keep an eye on the chat box because nobody can get in unless I'm watching to make sure. So what I was saying is Ashley asked a couple questions yesterday, and I thought they were really good questions in the group, so I was going to go over them if anybody missed them. And if y'all want to say what you do, where you're from, what you like, who you serve, if anybody would like to start that off.
I can start.
Go ahead, Holly.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name's Holly Dupre, and I am in Nashville, Tennessee, where I've lived my whole life. It's the best city ever. And Jesse's on here too, but we are actually both working on our new business. It's called Oh My Socially, and we are doing digital marketing for small businesses in the Middle Tennessee area.
That's awesome. We have a lot in common with, I was talking to somebody yesterday who was they're located in Nashville too, and we were talking about how both of these are like small towns that are just blowing up, and I think
changing all the time.
Oh my goodness, yes. And Katie's in Austin as well, I believe. Right, Katie? Aren't you located in Austin or somewhere around there? I don't know. You have yourself muted, so.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Awesome. Actually, I just moved to Bastrop, so I'm not really far from you, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right down the road from me then.
Yeah. But I work in the Austin area. I'm a wedding photographer. And I shoot, sorry, my son is still here. We're waiting for the bus. I work all around Texas, shooting weddings. Can you hear me? Yes, they can hear you. Sorry, y'all.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If my daughter was here, she'd be doing the same.
Katie's here and yeah, baby. Thank you.
Jessica, if you want to tell everybody where you're located at and what you do.
Sorry, okay. I'll put you on video. I didn't want you to have to stare at my disgusting kitchen. All right. Okay, so I'm Jessica. I'm from Wisconsin. And actually, I found out about Amanda through Jess Akin. And so that's kind of, and then my business, right now, I do a variety of virtual, I guess you could chalk it up to a bunch of virtual assistant stuff. So working for social media agency and another random business doing everything online that they need, email, writing, that kind of stuff. And in the meantime, developing my own brand behind the scenes so that I can write a book. So that's really it.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Jessie thinks she doesn't know how to get hers to work.
Can you guys hear me at all? I have no idea.
Hey, Jessie.
Oh, hey. Yeah, I don't know what is going on. I cannot get it to work.
Your video, I assume?
Yeah, my video. Okay. Which isn't a big deal. I mean, it's probably for the best if I'm being honest.
So you're located in Nashville as well, correct?
Well, I am actually in Atlanta, but we'll be moving back to Nashville next year.
Very nice. My husband's from Georgia, but the Savannah area. So.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So yesterday, Ashley, who couldn't be on here, she asked, what should we do our very first live video on Facebook over? And I thought that was a really good question. Well, Jessica kind of asked it before in a different way, and I thought that since all of us are on here and we're not all within the same industry, oh baby.
Sorry guys, Hazel was up from a nap.
We're not all within the same industry. We could brainstorm what, if you were so she's a wedding planner. So if you were, what would be interesting for you to watch from a wedding planner, and so on and so forth. But the advice that I gave Ashley yesterday over what you should do your very first live over is common questions that you hear clients ask all the time. And if you can't think of one question that would be long enough for a live video, and then I said basically do like a frequently asked questions live, where you do multiple questions of stuff that people ask whenever they do a call with you or something that you have on your website, just questions that you hear either from clients all the time, or another good way is going into Facebook groups where maybe your ideal clients hang out and seeing what questions pop up in there all the time. And then she also asked, how long should the live be? And I think this varies audience to audience. I like to keep mine no longer than 20 minutes because it's hard. People are busy and they don't really have time to sit there and watch a long form video. But I would suggest playing with different amounts of time, like maybe a 5-minute video, 10-minute video, and see what people are gravitating towards, what they like best, like shorter videos or more long form. Now I know, Holly, didn't you say you had some questions?
Yeah, I think that one thing that Jesse and I are kind of struggling with right now is we're really confident in the Instagram game, but some of our clients are wanting, Facebook business profiles, and we're just kind of struggling getting engagement on those, or more likes, more followers. So we were just wondering if you had any tips to kind of promote that.
So one thing that I'm actually noticing is, which it makes sense now that I'm thinking about it, but that iPhone pictures, like more non-stylized photos, work better on Facebook because you're scrolling through your feed. They fit in better with the feed. They don't look like an advertisement, and people are going to be more likely to engage with those photos because it looks like something that, their cousin or their aunt or somebody else shared. So I'm actually noticing that.
That's great. I mean, that's obviously so different than what we're doing on Instagram. So that's a really good tip.
Yeah, which like I said, it makes sense once you think about it. Like if you have a stylized stock photo, that's going to stick out like a sore thumb on Facebook whenever you're scrolling through your feed. It looks like an ad. But if it looks like something that your cousin and your aunt and everybody else is sharing, then people are that's what they're used to seeing on Facebook. So they're more likely to engage with it.
Now, have you seen success with like paying for the ads on Facebook? Like right now, one of our clients is a realtor. So we're like having a really hard time getting people to like that page. So we're kind of considering the ads game.
Yeah. I've tried Facebook ads in the past for like myself, and they weren't working for me. And so later this month, Samantha Grant, she is a Facebook ad specialist. She has a workshop that she's going to be doing. It's going to be posted inside. Sorry, I had to put Jesse back in here. She has a workshop that is going to be released in the group, and it's different than what most Facebook ad specialists are saying that you have to do. So most of them say, you have to create an opt-in, and you do like the freebie for their email, and then it goes down this email funnel, and at the end, then you pitch your service.
Okay.
Which is not what Samantha teaches. She does something different, and that's going to be released in the workshop. I've tried doing Facebook ads my own, not the way that Samantha has told me to. I haven't done it yet. And they did not work for me. But I didn't realize I talked to a Facebook ads manager that I'm thinking about hiring on for automating the membership and pushing out ads to get people in the membership, because it's only $20. You can take cold audience and get them into the membership for $20 a month. I didn't realize that they're like data analysts. Like they plug in numbers into a spreadsheet and they work out and if, when, but scenarios. So it's basically they're analyzing data that they pick up. But I want to try out Samantha's way of doing things and see if it has. She has success with it. Obviously, that's what her business is built on, and she does it for clients. But I haven't tried it for myself. But I think that'll be helpful for y'all, even for not for your own business. Then you can try it for clients that you have.
Right. Okay, cool. And her name was Samantha Grant. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Samantha Grant.
We'll keep an eye out for that then.
If you go inside the membership and you click on the workshop replay tab, her bio and website is there, but the workshop hasn't been released yet, but all of her information is there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Has anybody done a live yet? No, yes.
We
No.
have not.
No. I think so lives for me, they do best on my page. They get most engagement out of anything. But really I've tried polls on my page. People don't take part in polls on Facebook. That's for my audience. That might be different for somebody else's. But live videos do the best. Like I always get like people sharing it and commenting on it. So, I think it really depends on your audience if it's going to work. But I think video works well for most on Facebook.
You've been doing them on Instagram or just Facebook?
I do them on Instagram. So what's funny is on Instagram, I get a lot of live viewers more so than on Facebook. I don't get a lot of people tuning in live on Facebook, but I get like triple or quadruple the amount of replays. On Instagram, I get a lot of people watching live, but the replay is like a normal story or something like that. It's not very many people that watch the replay.
Got it. Okay. When you're doing those, do you have it like scripted out, or do you just kind of have like a general idea of what you're going to talk about and you just go for it?
So I think I shared, I might have thrown that paper away. In the group yesterday, I shared the Facebook Live planner.
Got it. Okay.
And like what I had written out, and I don't script it out completely, not word for word, but I have notes basically. And I cheat. So sometimes I'll put my phone up in the windowsill and I'll tape that Facebook Live planner on top to the window. Does that make sense? So it's like right above my phone.
That's a great idea. Okay.
You can still tell a little bit that I'm looking at it, but sometimes I'll just tell people like, yeah, like I'm not perfect. I'm looking at notes, so I don't forget what the heck I'm saying.
Got it. Okay.
But other times I have sticky notes, and if I'm on my desktop, I'll post the sticky notes on top, like right near my camera.
That's a good idea.
So I cheat that way. But that's mostly because I'm not good at putting together my thoughts and remembering them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, great.
Hi.
I can see.
Sorry. I know. I was like, okay, I'll make it work. Sorry, y'all, because we just moved and everything's still like everywhere. So I guess I did have a question. I honestly hate Instagram. I hate it with a passion. I find it so hard to like almost know what to post, or like there's so many information out there, right? On whether if you should post like on content, like the same colors of my photos on a cluster together, or if I should do a theme, or like how do you go about it? Like I don't even know, where to start.
For Instagram?
Yes.
Something that I had recently heard for Instagram, which made a lot of sense for me, is somebody wanted to do a puzzle feed for their Instagram, which I don't know if y'all know what that is, where it looks like if you go to it, it's like a mosaic puzzle type thing. And I forget where I heard this at. If I knew, I would tell you. Somebody said, when is the last time that you've gone to somebody's profile that you were following and looked at their profile as a whole? Probably you don't do that very much. What you see is one photo in your feed at a time. So it's better to focus on one photo and writing a really good caption that tells a story and connects, rather than making sure that your feed looks really cohesive.
Okay.
What's your I think I follow you on Instagram.
I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you want to put it in the chat.
I think that's it.
Your photography is so beautiful. Okay. Honestly, I think your feed looks really great. So you focus on wedding photography. And I might be getting you confused with somebody else, so I apologize if I am. Don't you specialize in like dim lighting?
I do. I specialize in low light weddings.
Low light weddings, yeah, that's why I thought. So I would definitely make sure, I would change your bio to say something about that.
Okay.
Because that's one of your like best selling points, and that's what differentiates you from other photographers. I know a lot of photographers who are not comfortable in low light settings. And so the fact that you specialize in that, and I would make sure that you're not every single post, but that you are highlighting that within your feed as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tips for Instagram bios in general, because Jesse and I, like, we cannot come up with what we want in ours. Like things that you recommend adding or not having in there.
Let's take a look. I would definitely say what you specialize in, because so right now yours says small business digital marketing.
Right.
Could be so many things. Like that's a huge umbrella.
True. Okay.
So what is it that you specialize in? Or what do you,
like, I just feel like since we're just starting out, we're kind of like all over, like all of our clients, it's like apples to oranges. They're just all so different right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we're struggling with.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you enjoy? Who do you enjoy working with, and what do you enjoy doing?
Our dream right now is to be doing it for wedding venues. That's like our ultimate goal, is like handling their accounts.
Is the content that you are writing and putting out right now somewhat directed towards that?
No, I think right now we're really just kind of like reaching everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is a good thing, obviously, because you're just starting out and you want your bills paid.
That's kind of what we need to be doing right now, because we're just really, like, learning this month.
Yeah.
Obviously, like a long-term goal. So I think until we like get experience with those kinds of clients and can actually put out that kind of content that we've done. So I don't know. It's like right now we're kind of like, should we stay broad because we're so early on?
So going back like a couple of years, I realized that I really liked helping photographers and, this is kind of funny, wedding industry professionals. After I had worked with a couple of those, I had realized that. And what I ended up doing actually was I went everywhere on my website, on social media, like any place I could put it, and I put brand designer for wedding industry professionals and photographers.
You're kidding. Okay.
And I still got like other business, but whenever I guess this is what my thought was. If somebody is getting and reaching quotes and gathering quotes from like 5 different businesses, and somebody says that they specialize in working with whatever it is that I do, then you're more qualified than the other person who's doing it for everybody else. like you're going to understand their industry better.
Okay. So
And
would your advice to us maybe be go ahead and like start making those changes, and obviously like keeping the clients we have now, but more so making
yeah,
them specific. Okay.
and even if you, which this is a personal decision if y'all can't do it. Sometimes I would take jobs at a lower cost, and because I wanted to build up that side of my portfolio. So I might have given them a discounted rate just because I wanted to be sharing more content of that nature. I wanted to build up that side of my portfolio and have more stuff to share on social media.
Okay.
So that, I mean, that's obviously
I think that's really, really good advice.
But it worked for me.
Right.
So I can't say that it'll work for everybody, but whenever I need to go back. Sometimes I still have it in there, some places that says like wedding industry professionals and photographers. And now I've gotten to a point where that's what all my referrals have become. So I don't really have to market that way anymore because I've already made it in that industry that I just get referrals and it just keeps growing without me having to say that.
Right. Okay.
But I never saw anybody wasn't like, oh, well, yours says you're wedding professionals and photographers. Like I still helped like a person who does like goat milk soaps, event planners. Oh man, I can't even think of all
So
of it.
In other words, like it didn't limit you from other people, because I think that would be our fear right now since we're so early on. We're like, well, we don't want to like turn anyone away at this point, but you didn't find that.
No, I did not find that.
Okay, that's a really good tip.
So that's for if anybody else wants, if y'all have like any advice or stuff that y'all want to add in or experience, feel free to hop in. So Jessica, you had a question the other day whenever I was doing the live inside the Facebook group, and I was trying to go back and find it, but this won't let me minimize the screen, so I'm like having to look with like 25% of the screen. Did you still have questions about that, or?
I don't know. I think I've done live video. Like way back when I decided to just go all in on social media, and I joined a network marketing company, which I don't do anymore, but I did my own challenge of where I was like, okay, the only thing that's gonna make me lose weight is if I actually have to get online and talk about it. So Facebook Live that had just come out and I started. And so I'm used to Facebook Live. I'm not great at it by any means, but my thing is now I'm kind of shifting over to creating a personal brand so that I can go and kind of have that brand there for when I'm publishing the book and future books. And so I think it's just one of those now being far more focused on all of those topics that would make sense for writing books. So I'm just more trying to figure out, okay, how do I make sure that I stay on brand and being consistent, and what things do I make sure are not in my realm? So it's kind of like that. Do you almost like her question before of like, should I narrow a little bit more to what I want or keep it broad? But I'm kind of just sensing that there are just certain buckets that I can talk about that'll be consistent with the brand, and then everything else is just not there. So just kind of sticking with those specific buckets.
Yeah, which that's something good that you brought up. I have this. It's called I call it my business Bible, and inside of it, actually, this might be good for other people to see. I have what's called pillars, and so I have pillars of what falls underneath my brand of what I'll do content under. So like branding, website, marketing, and productivity are my 4 pillars. And so anything that I do within my brand, I make sure that it's falling underneath one of those 4 pillars so that I'm staying consistent with what I'm talking about and what I'm known for.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So I think I'm just not one who, I'm still trying to figure out I'll make strategy and follow that content calendar or something for someone else and make theirs. But I have not, because this moving into a brand to eventually support being an author is so new to me. I'm still trying to figure out, okay, so what are the buckets and how is that aligned with what the book would be about eventually? So it's just kind of sitting down and doing that work, I think. But once I have those things, I don't have a problem going on Facebook Live. The bigger thing for me will be later, which your tools are really helpful with, I think, is going back and going, okay, so why did this one work? What did I do? Was it the content of the video, or was it how I distributed the video? So just things like that.
Yeah, I think that's one part of the puzzle that a lot of people forget to do, is to go back and look at metrics and why stuff worked and why stuff didn't. Like yesterday, usually I do my Facebook Lives from my desktop, so they're horizontal. And yesterday I did my Facebook Live from my phone. So it was vertical because I wanted to test out how people responded to the video being the other way, and also sharing. So I take a lot of my videos I do and I download them and I share them to IGTV on Instagram. Mm-hmm. So if I'm doing it Facebook Live vertical, then I can not have to go in there and edit it. I can just share it directly from Facebook to IGTV.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
So what was the difference? Have you seen a difference yet, or is it too soon to tell?
I haven't really seen a difference yet. The amount of views and engagement on it was about the same. But I'm going to go back in there and look, because it hasn't even been 24 hours yet. But so far it was about the same. But I'm going to go and I'm going to share it on IGTV. And normally my videos on IGTV are horizontal and they have the black bars at the top and the bottom. But this one's going to be full. So I'll see if that changes for IGTV as well.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing a whole lot of, I posted some, but and I've been watching other people's, and IGTV has not, at least as the people I'm following, I'm like, oh, I can see your views, and that's not near what it is on other platforms. So I'm still interested to see how it goes. It's so early in the process for IGTV, but.
Yeah, I am an early adopter of it because I don't think that it's going to go anywhere. Like stories, whenever stories first started out, nobody was using the stories hardly at all. And then they just took off. Yeah. So it's easy for me to put content on there. So if it does take off, then I'm already kind of ahead of the game. But if not, then, no sweat.
Well, it's easy enough because I do like the vertical. I like the vertical because that's how I use my phone. So it is convenient that way. I was just surprised it didn't take off more yet. But you're right. Things do tend to be that way.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that it didn't take off right away, too. I thought for sure that it would have right away.
Yeah. But anyway, it's early on, so we'll see. But
yeah, but I was going to say something else. I think the analytics are really important to track. And then my dog's trying to get out the door. For the Facebook Lives, don't forget you can fill out and get an audit done of your Facebook page, and I'm going to be doing those live as well. I have to schedule it out, but I'm going to do those live too, and then they'll be uploaded.
I would totally be game for that at some point in the future, but right now we're literally at the beginning. I mean, I just saw a mood board, which is exciting, but I haven't really produced content and started to really develop, because once I have content up there and there's plenty of, copy, I'd love to get feedback in here, but there's just nothing really until all of that gets finished. So
do you know what your book's going to be about?
Yeah, so it's going to be basically about how I had this is so silly. I've just recently started talking about this, so it's kind of still awkward, but basically about in my life how I've had like little whispers and how it's kind of around the idea of every woman needs a warrior and how every woman can be a warrior for other people. And so it's just basically me sharing my story of being not having the sob story that so many people tend to have, which is great. That's cool for them. It's just not what I have. I had a really good childhood, but still managed to make a lot of pretty life-changing mistakes, and how I've kind of worked in the chaos and become my own essentially warrior, which I sound so silly. I feel silly saying that, but essentially that's what it's about. So
That's awesome. It's also like a motivate. Like it kind of makes me think of I just because she's a hot topic right now, but Rachel Hollis.
yes, yeah, and I think I'm just kind of she's the perfect example of someone who I love, but I have a hard time relating because she had the awful childhood, and I'm like, oh, I love you. I just can't relate to you on that level. So that's really what the book will be about. It's the lack of a sob story, but still making, choices in life. So
Yeah, that's awesome. This is kind of off topic, but I watch Intervention a lot, and it's weird whenever most of them have like a really dark past and they didn't grow up in the greatest home, and then they turn to drugs and alcohol because of that. But whenever you hear, which I'm not saying that your story is the same of that, but whenever somebody has like, they're like, oh, I grew up in a perfect childhood, like my parents are very loving, and then something happens down that road and you're just like, why? Like what happened, which like I said, that's off topic, but
no, it's great. So anyway, but thank you very much for your feedback. And I'll submit something for your review. I just want to make sure I actually have plenty there for you to review. So.
Oh yeah, no, don't feel like you have to at all. I want to make sure that like I'm trying to like over communicate things, because I know that Facebook doesn't always pop up in notifications, and I don't want to be emailing everybody every day like, hey, this. So it looks like Amber's popping on.
Yep, and I have to pop off, but thank you very much, and it was nice to meet you guys, so thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Hey, Amber, so you're muted right now, and if you want to turn your video on, you can. But if you have any questions, hi.
I got the time mixed up, so.
I was just telling Jess before she hopped off that I tried like over communicating stuff, because I know that people like something doesn't always pop up like in people's feed and emails and stuff. So, but I'm glad that you're here now.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh, it's at 9. I was like, I'm only 40 minutes late, so.
Oh, that's fine. Like, I think I posted on there, I was like, just come and go. Like, this is super chill. Doesn't matter. People have been on and like hopped off and came back on and hopped off. So.
Okay, good. So then I don't feel too weird about it. So.
No, not at all. Did you have any questions? Because I think we went through basically everybody's questions, which I'm going to upload this. It's being recorded. I'm going to upload it so you can always watch the full replay of it.
Gotcha. No, I didn't have any questions for myself, but I did want to see what other people had to ask and say. So I totally missed that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you did. So people were just asking, the main question that I had, which was in the Facebook group, was posted by Ashley yesterday, because she is an event planner and she had a meeting this morning. So they're asking, have you done live video before?
I haven't, no.
Okay. So people are asking, what should we do for our very first live video? How long should it be? So my response to what should you do for your very first live is common questions that either clients ask you all the time, basically doing like an frequently asked questions live, which I didn't mention this earlier, but also you can take that video that you did for a Facebook Live and you can download it to your computer.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. You can download it to your computer, and then you can put it on your website. You can put it in an email. You can send it to people, like make a template email. And if they ask something, you could be like, hey, that's a great question. I made this video to kind of clear up any other questions that you have. So doing a live like that also works in other types of ways as well. You can repurpose it basically.
What do you use for like your lives? Like what kind of camera? Do you just do it off of your phone? Do you use your computer?
So for some of them, I use just my Mac desktop, the camera off from there. Some of them I use my phone. And then on some of my videos, you'll notice it has a signature on it. It will say like my name and my website. And for that, I use OBS. Let me look. Yeah, OBS. And what you can do, it's pretty cool. You can share your screen with people. You can add images here. Let me bring it up and I'll show you. Because if you want to do something, say you want to do a live video and you want to turn it into an ad.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to have that up there so people know who you are and what your website is. So I'm going to share my screen with y'all. And I'm going to show you what OBS is. And it's really easy to connect with Facebook. So this is what OBS looks like. Can you see it?
Yes.
So I can do the window and have me in the corner, and I can put that so that you can see it. For this one, you'll notice it has my signature on it, and it's just me. So yeah. I use that sometimes if I want to get fancy, basically.
Yeah.
Because you can connect it to, which I can do a mini training over this, how to download it and connect it to Facebook to do a live like this, if y'all would be interested in that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do a mini training over that and put it inside the membership. Because like I said, especially if you're turning it into an ad, like those are really good performing ads. If you just do a short live video and then you turn it into an ad, and then you have this where it says like your name, who you are, and your website there for everybody to see, then one, it looks more professional, but two, then people aren't like, who are you? Like, where do I go? What's your website? So I'll do a mini training of how to download this and set it up, and then how to connect it to do a Facebook Live, because you have to get like a stream key, which sounds really confusing, but it's not, I promise you.
So I guess my question is, would that be a better idea to do it that way with the OBS Studio? Create a video and then start that way? Because I've been thinking of doing a video of like exactly what you're talking about and then put it on my website, right? But now that you're talking about Facebook Live videos, I mean, I've never even thought about doing that. So would it be a better idea to pre-record something and then put it as a live video on Facebook, or is it better just to be live?
So a live video is going to be different than if you upload a video, and Facebook they like live video better than posted video. But if you're not comfortable doing live video right off the bat, then from this OBS you can start recording, and you can record the video, then upload it to Facebook. But for people like event planners or photographers, something that I see that goes over really well on Instagram and Facebook is, if you have the time, if you get there before you're supposed to be shooting and you do a live of you like behind the scenes of the wedding, and you can call out others. So like you'd be like, hey, here's Erica with My Precious Events or something. I don't know. I just added that. Then you can tag them on, you can reshare that live video and you can tag them, and they'll probably comment on it and engage with it. They might even share it too. So I always, always, always recommend, which this is one of the reasons why, if you have auto posting from Instagram to Facebook, so if you have a business account, you have the option where you can auto post from Instagram and it will go to your Facebook page automatically. Turn that off, because one, you might have hashtags in there, which hashtags don't really do you a bit of good on Facebook. But two, you also, if you tagged anybody in your Instagram post, they're not going to be tagged on Facebook. So you have to go in there, and that's when in the mini training for how to find your best posting times, I show you how to schedule out posts. And I always recommend, if you can tag anybody, if it's the bride and groom, if it's the wedding planner, the more people that you can tag in your post, the better, because they're going to be more likely to engage with it, possibly share it, And the higher engagement you have, the better the post is going to do. Facebook says like, oh, people really enjoy seeing this post. Let's push it out to more people. So that was a really long-winded answer and tangent to your question, but
No, that's totally, yeah.
Hopefully that was helpful.
Hey, I have a question real quick. Speaking of auto posting, me and Holly, we're using a CRM right now called Zoho. We're kind of in our trial right now, but do you recommend other CRMs other than Zoho?
I've never heard of Zoho before.
Okay.
The only CRM for posting that I use is Planoly for Instagram. Other than that,
it's what?
Planoly. I'll post it in the chat box.
Okay, because this one, it allows us to have we have a few clients now, so we can create separate profiles, and it allows us to create posts, and it'll post on their Facebook or their Instagram, however we want to do it. So I just didn't know if you knew. The Planoly, is it just for Instagram or is it Facebook too?
Yeah, it's just for Instagram, but for me, for Facebook, I don't run a agency like doing this for other clients, but for Facebook, I schedule out my posts inside Facebook itself.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I was just wondering.
Which I don't know if that helps analytics, if they're like, hey, you're using our platform to plan out posts. I don't know if Facebook likes that better if using a third-party app.
Okay, good to know. All righty.
I didn't even know that Facebook let you plan out posts like that. So you plan out all of yours on Facebook directly, Amanda?
You can schedule them out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I'll share my screen with y'all again, just because I'm a visual person, so I like seeing stuff. So I don't know if y'all are the same way. Let me move this down. So if I go into my page, and then if you go over to publishing tools, and you can schedule out live video to let everybody know, like, hey, you're planning on doing a live. So you can create, and then it will give you the option to say schedule. And another cool thing that Facebook does is you can stop newsfeed distribution. So say if you're doing an event and the event ends on Friday, then you can say, hey, quit showing this on Friday. So it won't pop up in anybody's feed because the event's not happening anymore. But if you go down to, I believe it's video library, you can hit live. And then it will let you schedule out live video too. And you can change like your cover image for it. You can do what time and date for it. And then it will let everybody know like, hey, they're planning on doing a live. So.
I didn't know that. That's good to, because I want to be able to say, hey, I'm going to go live, but I'm so picky about, it's okay, what kind of photo do I use to advertise that I'm going to go live, or do I do another little video push or something? But if I do that, Facebook will do it for me. So.
And, sorry, everybody's texting me now. What I was saying is for Facebook, I don't get a lot of people watching me live on Facebook. On Instagram live, I get more people watching me live, but not as many replays of the live. For Facebook, not very many people watch me live, but everybody watches me on replay. Like I get quadruple the amount of replays on Facebook than I would if I did an Instagram live. So don't let that, if you are doing a live, because this was me back in the beginning when I first started doing lives. If nobody joined my live while I was doing it, I would panic. And I'm like, nobody's watching me live. Nobody's watching you live. Nobody cares. Like nobody's going to know that nobody's watching you live whenever the replay is posted. So don't panic if nobody's watching you live, because for me, I get so many replays afterwards that it doesn't matter if anybody's watching me live.
How long do you think a Facebook Live should be? Or how long is too long and how short is too short?
So I think this is different for audience to audience. I play around with different lengths of video. I try to keep mine between like 5 to 10 minutes because my audience is other busy entrepreneurs, so they don't have a lot of time to be sitting around watching a live video. I try to keep them no longer than 20 minutes, but it's going to vary from audience to audience. I know some people who do lives that are like 30 minutes to an hour. And if that works for them, great. But you have to track your analytics and know what's working and what's not working. So I usually do my live videos horizontally. And yesterday I did a live vertically because I wanted to see if that changed my analytics, doing a Facebook Live vertically from my phone rather than horizontally. So play around with stuff. That's why I tried doing polls on my Facebook page. Polls on Instagram stories. Everybody loves polls on Instagram stories. I did a poll on my Facebook page, crickets. So you really just have to play around with what works for Instagram and what works for Facebook because they're completely different. Like the first thing that me and Holly started talking about on here was stylized and stock photos, always amazing Instagram. But what I'm realizing now is they stick out like a sore thumb whenever you're scrolling your Facebook feed. They look like an advertisement. So if you use photos that blend in more with a feed, like something that, you know, your mom and your grandma sharing, that you're going to see more engagement with it because that's what people are used to seeing on Facebook.
Gotcha.
So you just have to play around with what works on Facebook and what works on Instagram, which I know you're a photographer, so you're probably like, well, I can't share something that looks like crap, but maybe try to be more personal on your Facebook page and post like photos of you and your kids, like you took off your phone, and making it more about like a personal brand on Facebook. That might work better for you than posting more of like your portfolio. Leave that to Instagram.
Yeah, I have noticed that whether it's, I always share photos of my family that I've taken with my camera, but those always perform better than, you know, a picture of the last wedding I did or, you know, anything like that. So
yeah, I've noticed that too. Like one of the best posts that I shared, it was a Saturday or a Sunday, and it was just like a picture that I'd taken of, I think, like my husband and my daughter, just like a random iPhone picture. And I was like, oh, post picture of like what you're doing this weekend. Went over amazing on Facebook. It was just some random iPhone picture, like not thought out at all. Just like, hey, this is what we're doing this Saturday. What are you doing? And it performed really well.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So it's testing. I mean, whenever you start out on Instagram, it's the same. Like, you know, it's put posts on Instagram. Like, you kind of have to find out who your audience is. So it's kind of starting over somewhat because you might have some overlap in audience from Instagram to Facebook. But this is something, if you watch the mini training that I did for what times to post on Facebook, it's going to be different because I know for me, like I'm on Facebook a lot during like certain times of the day, like in the morning and then like sometimes in the afternoon, but I don't really get on Facebook at night. Like I'm on Instagram at night. So it's knowing what times, whenever you post on Instagram, they may not be the best times to post on Facebook.
Are you using any sort of app that like lets you know your best times to post? For
Facebook?
Just any of them. Because
so
for Facebook, wondering if we should get something like that.
So for Facebook, I use the mini training, how to find your best posting times. So it's within Facebook. For Instagram, I use the analytics that are inside Instagram if you're running off a business account, which the main reason I like using those analytics, what's important to me, is getting clicks to my website, like the link that's within my bio. If you are running a Facebook profile on Instagram, then you can go into individual posts and you can view the insights and you can see how many people clicked your website from that post.
Got it. Okay, so you're doing it within Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, and then I use something called People Map.
Mhm.
to look at other stats, and I think that's $20 a month.
Okay.
And it's People Map.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat box too. And that will tell you
Sorry.
your best posting days and time, like your 3 best days and your 3 best times.
Cool. Okay.
But the main reason I use People Map is because, so this is like a little hack that I don't think I've ever told anybody about this before. People Map, you can analyze other people's profiles, and it will tell you the top commenters, the top likes, of people who are, so say if I analyzed your profile, I could go in there and I could see who is commenting the most on your profile.
Mhm.
And then I can start engaging with them. And I do this a lot with past clients. So I will analyze past clients' profiles, and then I'll go in there and see who is like other photographers that they're really close with, and I'll start engaging with them because
That's really cool.
yeah, they're already within their circle and they probably have heard about me. And so I just start building up a relationship that way.
Mhm. Okay.
So if you have like, I'll use Amber, for example, she's a photographer. So she could go in there to like past brides and see who is like their best friends, like commenting on all their photos, and then start making a relationship with them to get like other family sessions or finding out who's pregnant and start building up a relationship so that whenever the baby's born, you're like, hey, we're best friends now. Let me photograph your baby.
Okay.
I actually did have a client who I'm following on Instagram, and she posted a picture at like a baby shower. And so I left a comment. I was like, oh my gosh, everybody and the mother is so beautiful. And then I think I just said like, oh, what a beautiful mother. And then I was like, oh, I should say something about her and the other friend also, because if not, it looks kind of weird because I've never met this pregnant woman before in my life. And so I went and like edited the comment. But I don't know. It felt normal, but at the same time, I haven't met in person yet. We just have her engagements like scheduled. And so I was like, is this a little creepy? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay. She never said anything like, I have to cancel my engagements now. You full on creeped me out. So I was like, okay, that's good. That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, no, sometimes I'll Ibram. So I do this a lot for styled shoots. If I see somebody tag other people in a styled shoot, I'll go in there and I'll be like, hey, I saw your work through Amber, and I'll tag you. And I'll be like, your work is so beautiful. Like, just so that I know that they have a connection. Like, hey, I already know Amber, and that's how I saw you. So then it just creates a connection. I'm not some random person. Like, I'm already within your group.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So are you just kind of like subtly, I don't know, like making connections with people like that? Or did you ever like just straight up message them and be like, hey, like I really want to work with you? Because Jesse and I, it's like we have these clients and we're like, or, you know, like our dream clients, and we're like, are we ever going to get to a point where like we just straight up message them and say like, we want to do this for you? Or how do you go about that?
That's where I would be transparent with the discounted rate. I'd like, hey, we are, you know, we're somewhat new. We have a lot of clients, but we really enjoy working with wedding planners. And so we would really we enjoy your work. And I would say like something specific about like that styled shoot that you did with X, Y, and Z was so beautiful. And then we'd say like, we really want to work with you and would be interested even in offering a discounted rate. And
okay.
If that's something that you'd be interested in, then like, please let us know. I wouldn't add any links in your first message. Like, don't say, you know, hit us up at ohmysocially.com. I wouldn't put any links in there.
Okay.
But
I really like that idea. That's cool.
Okay, so yeah, just basically touching base with them. I actually have a question, and I apologize if you've already gone over this. So it's regarding our Instagram profile. So right now, I guess we're just having a hard time. We know what are your thoughts on making it more personal? And then, like I said, I know we've already touched base on this, but right now, like we just are trying to figure out how to add personal touches to our profile, to our business profile, because right now it is stock photos and also socially tips, but we also want to make sure that the flow is still there with our grid. So do you think it's hurting us not having, you know, anything really personal on our grid? Because we're adding stuff to our stories, but what are your thoughts on that?
I would 100% add stuff, like make it more personal. And if you could, I would hire a professional photographer and do like a branded session with y'all together.
Okay.
And you can you can pay $200, $300 and get 100 images, and then you're good. You can just share those on social media for the next 6 months.
Okay. That's not a bad idea. Okay.
It's really not. And then like, you know, I know earlier you were kind of saying, you know, like focus more on the individual pictures and not the overall like feed, but we really are kind of liking like our bright kind of consistent flow in our whole feed. So would you just consider, I don't know, like if we got a professional photographer coming in, just kind of like bright clothing and like a good location, so it still kind of like goes with the flow?
Yeah. So 100%, don't forget about making the feed look cohesive. But if that is something that is overwhelming you and stopping you from posting, then like done is better than perfect. But if you are more comfortable with it and you like can focus on creating a feed that's more consistent, then 100% like I try to keep my feed like in the greens and the pinks and keeping it all cohesive. But I've been at this a hot minute, so it doesn't stop me from posting something that's out of my brand. I don't know.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
But I reach out to people and I direct message them sometimes, so I somewhat stalk people who follow me that I take an interest in, like not everybody. For one, I block people or I report them as spam if they start following me, because the more followers I have that aren't engaging with me, that's going to bring down my engagement number on Instagram. So I try to get rid of spammers and block people who, honestly, if I don't have any interest in working with them, then I will block them off from my page. But if I find somebody who I really like, I go to their profile, I'm like, okay, like I'm digging this. Like I like what you're sharing. Like I think that you could be a potential client. Then I'll go through, I'll like read some of their posts, comment on them, like them, and then so I get kind of super stalkery. I go to their website and I'll like go to their about page and learn more about them. And then if I'm still interested in working with them, so one, I'm a brand and website designer. So if I go to their website and I'm like, oh, like you can use a new website, then sometimes I'll message them and I'll be like, hey, I'll make it super personalized. It's not like a blanket message. It'll be like, hey, like, thanks for following along and connecting with me. I really enjoyed that post that you shared about XYZ, like so that they know that like I took time and I'm not just like sending out a spam message to everybody that follows me. I'm like, let me know how I can best support you. And then I'll just sign it with my name. And that's all.
Okay.
And I've gotten a few people who are like, yeah, let's set up a call or send me an email with like your prices. I've booked a client that way. And I've sent out probably like 4 quotes to people that way. But also it's just fun to start conversations that way too.
Right. Everyone's holding a dog or a baby, and I'm loving it.
I know. I was like, oh, maybe I should go get my child also. But then I'd have to bring all 4 of them, so never mind.
That's one of the
whining.
of being in this group. You have to have a dog or a baby.
Oh.
Holly, you were the first one who had like their baby, and I was like, okay, pay attention. Oh, baby.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's like, you know how it is. If I'm in the room, it's like she has to be in my arms.
Yeah.
How,
Oh.
how old is she, Holly?
She's 6 months.
How old is your baby, Jesse?
He's 5 months.
Oh my goodness, y'all are right.
Yeah, we're so close. Hazel and Holton.
His hair, I love it.
How old is your baby, Amber?
He is 11 months.
Okay, I thought it was somewhere within that.
I know, he's almost a year, and I'm dying. I'm like, you were just this little.
You're
But this is why I like have kids every 2 years. Like it's like by the 2-year point, I'm like, I'm ready for another baby.
My daughter's 2, and I'm like, I think I'll wait till you're older. I don't want to do that.
Well, I thought with my 4th one, who's about to be a year, when he was born, I was like, we're going to take more than 2 years this time. We're going to wait a little bit longer. But it's getting to where he's a year, and I'm like, do we want to keep waiting or no?
You want to have another one? 5 kids? Oh my God.
Well, actually, we may have 6. Like, that might be our end number. So that's why, like, we always wanted a bigger family. So I was like, well, I want to have them close in age. So just kind of like back to back.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, maybe we could stretch it out just a little bit longer. But we'll see. I don't know.
Did you? I would assume that you or your husband are from larger families.
He's one of 4.
Okay.
Yeah. And his dad is one of 7.
Because that's most time you hear people who want larger families, they come from a larger family.
I only have 1 brother.
Yeah, I only have a sister.
Yeah, and I think that coming from just having a brother when I always wanted a sister and I only had the 1 sibling, like I couldn't choose. I feel like I was like, I want my kids to be able to choose, like whether they're close to their brother or their sister or all of their siblings or, you know, but so I'm giving them options.
That's awesome.
Speaking of babies, Jesse and I'm really liking this, like hiring a photographer and getting pictures of us together. I think that's an awesome idea. We kind of always talk about like what's going to set us apart from, you know, other people offering these services. And like we talk about maybe trying to harp on the fact that we're both like new moms that are staying at home. Do you think that having the babies in the pictures would help set us apart? Or do you think that's going to come across as like mom bloggish?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think.
Because we've talked about that.
I'm trying to think about it from like a client's perspective. Like, would that make me more interested? Or the first thing that I thought of was, then I'm thinking like, oh, you're so busy with your babies that you're not going to have enough time for like my work.
That's a really good point.
You're going to be distracted.
Right. Okay. So Jesse, maybe just us then.
Yeah. Well, it goes, I mean, I think it could go either way because yesterday I was talking to a client and she knew that I was home. It's Dr. Oates, Holly. And she knew that I was home feeding Holton. And then at the end of the conversation, she was like, okay, I definitely want to work with y'all because if you can, you know, spend time working on my page, feed your baby and talk business at the same time, then I definitely want to work with you. So it's like, it can go both ways. So,
I know. I feel like there's that whole, like, you can be a multitasker because you're a mom. Like,
yeah.
You know how to spread yourself in ways that people who don't have children don't have to worry about it. It's like, I feel like it's an extra talent that y'all could use.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the difference between male clients versus female clients. Maybe I don't know. Like, I don't know. But so I don't know what we should do, Holly.
Yeah, maybe we could get a mix of both, and see like which pictures are getting engagement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then put on Put on there that your superpower is that y'all are moms.
Right. Katie and Amber, I wish you guys lived close to us and you could take these pictures for us.
Oh my gosh. Where are y'all from?
We're in Nashville and Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Where are you from,
whenever
Amber?
y'all get together, let me know. We'll see if I can, I don't know.
Where are you
fly
located?
out. I'd give y'all the branding gathering discounts.
Amber, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
I'm from Texas.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're from what area?
I'm in Seguin, so it's like an hour from San Antonio, Austin, a couple hours from Houston. I'm like central Texas.
Katie's from Texas too, but
Oh, really?
yeah.
More of the Austin area, but yes.
Oh,
I
okay,
know
yeah.
what it is, yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
close. Yeah. Cool. Guys, if y'all need like referrals for like a good wedding, like a photographer, there's like a lot of really cool Facebook groups where we can post like, hey, post like your images or whatever, and we can send you a bunch of information from photographers that can do what you guys need to.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the only photographers, we really know, I think, are our wedding photographers. And I don't know if they would do this kind of stuff, but we can always reach out to them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They probably could. I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna
sure they could.
grab y'all to post on Instagram.
Oh, I should get my baby.
Yeah, get your baby in there. Let me show you pictures.
Oh, look at that baby.
Oh.
Little babe.
One of my closest friends, she just had twins, and before that she had 2 Boston Terrier pups. And so even though they're years apart, they look like twins, and now she has boy twins.
Oh,
so I just thought it was so funny that she has matching dogs and matching babies.
So cute.
Hi, baby.
Oh, there we go.
There's one.
At school.
Uh-oh. I got a baby now.
She's like, I fit in.
Yeah.
Amanda, where's your baby girl?
She's at school, or we call it school. She goes to daycare, but we tell her it's school.
You see that puppy?
So then whenever she actually goes to school, then she's already been going to school, so
Yeah.
Good.
it won't be anything different.
Jesse and I were just saying yesterday, like, it's just so hard doing all this, being home, with the babies all day. So I bet that's so nice, Amanda. You like have time to actually sit down and like work without distractions.
I don't know how people do it with their kid around. I tell people I get half the amount of work done in twice the amount of time whenever my daughter's home.
Exactly.
It's so stressful too.
It's like she knows when I'm I'll pull out my laptop and she knows I'm about to work, and she's like, I want Cheez-Its. I need to go potty. I want to turn on Paw Patrol. I'm like, I'm trying to work now, and now you want all these things? Really? Really?
I see that you have a calendar back there, Amanda. Is that how you are like keeping track? Jesse and I have been talking about this too. Like we were trying like Google calendars and all this different stuff to like keep track of what needs to be done and when. So maybe we could all talk about how we're, I don't know, kind of like staying organized.
So this makes me super happy that you asked this, because next month it's all about systems and schedules.
Oh, Jesse, we need that.
Yes.
Yes, I'm super excited. I use Trello. And then for Trello is what I track like everything in, which I want to put together like a mini training of Trello and share boards and stuff with y'all. But next month is all about schedules and systems and how to be more productive and maximize your time, because we're getting close to the holidays, and then you have a million different things that are going on outside of work. Like there's kid stuff, there's parties, there's family events. So now is like the crunch time of when you need to start maximizing your time. And so for this calendar, I just write down like different launch dates of stuff and phone calls and events that I have planned out ahead of time. And then I have my goals for the month written out in black that I can check off. And then I'm trying to turn, so this right there, I have a 3-month quarterly calendar that I map out stuff on. And then I also have Trello. I'm super organized. I don't think you're on. I was showing them I call this my business Bible, and everything inside of it is laminated and like mapped out. So
so you're doing all this next month then?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's great.
Yeah, so all that's next month, and how to, I'm trying to get somebody, a guest expert, to come in and talk more about setting up like an onboarding system and automating that part of your business. So I'm trying to get a guest expert to come in and do a workshop over that. But the struggle that I'm running into is usually it's for one platform that they show you. And so I know for myself, I use 17 Hats. Some people probably use like Honeybook or Dubsado. So in order to do that, it needs to be all on like one system, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out who can come in and kind of teach people how to set up an onboarding system in their business that covers everybody and doesn't exclude anybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, we aren't even using a specific one right now. We've been kind of like talking about which to use. So something like that would be beneficial for us, just even hear about a few different ones to help us make our decision.
Yeah, I use 17 Hats. I've used it for the past 3 or 4 years. I love it. Dubsado is another one. They were kind of marketing more towards, I think, photographers, but now they went through like a complete rebrand and they redid like their whole entire CRM system. So I don't know what that looks like now. And then Honeybook's more for photographers, if I remember correctly.
Honeybook is like for, I would say, wedding vendors in general. Yeah.
Okay, wedding vendors. Okay. I know that I tried getting on Honeybook and I was like, this doesn't work for me. Like, I don't know what it was set up for, somebody of that service. So I got off from it. 17 Hats, I would say, is for everybody. Like, they don't really cater to one type of business. There's not any, there's not any things that they make specific for one business. Oh, that was a terrible explanation, but.
I know I started using Irisworks because that was specifically for photographers. And at the time I had looked at Honeybook also, and I was like, no, I think I want this where it's specifically for photographers. And this, I was using it for a year, and I switched over to Honeybook because it just had, since it wasn't just for photographers, it had more options for me to do other things. And it was a lot cheaper also. But it still allowed me to do invoicing and contracts and send out, like, save email templates and all that kind of stuff. So
do you know what you pay for that?
Yes, I think it was $250 for the year.
Okay. I don't know what 17 Hats is for the year. I pay monthly, and I think it's $17 a month. I think I could be wrong.
It should be. That would be appropriate.
She can see herself in the camera.
Yes, she can. Can you tell?
I'm going to have to get out of here because Holton, it's almost time for his feeding. But thank you so much for this. It was awesome. And we'll definitely keep in touch. And we are looking forward to next month's training.
Yeah.
Yay.
Look on the calendar for the other events too. I think every Thursday this month is an event.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Katie, do you use a CRM like HoneyBook or anything like that?
I don't. I actually created my own like paper and pen like folder, just like your Bible.
Right. All laminated. A girl after my own heart.
I have everything for every single one of my clients and weddings coming up. And so on the first page, I have like all of the important information. And so I keep them in this like little plasticky thing. So I just pull one out whenever I need something. I have the contracts and I have my own like designed like a worksheet where I can track their payments and all this other stuff. So I tried 17 Hats and it just didn't work for me. I tried HoneyBook and others, but it just, to me, it was transferring everything that I already worked so hard onto like electronically. And even then it didn't have everything I needed, or I would have to log in or have internet access for that. So paper is still working better for me than anything else.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that it was missing that you wanted?
So for example, like little tidbits of like where we met or things that I want to remember from each of my clients.
Okay.
Or for example, if I have them on payment plans, there was nowhere for me to write it down. I would still have to have a paper copy of, okay, this couple's giving me payment plans and this is how it's structured. And how am I sending them? Do I have to send them manually or are they being automatically drafted, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Well, I was going to say HoneyBook has it now where you can add in your own. Like I have weddings that do like a 2-part payment plan, and then I have some where they're making monthly payments, and I just have it in there for exactly how much they're paying, and the clients choose whether they want to like put it on the same credit card. It'll auto pay on those certain days, or if they just want to get the reminder whenever it comes up again. So, which I know that was new as of February.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I tried it probably about 2 years ago and I gave up on it. The thing is, there's still things that I do, like, for example, their initial wedding consultation questionnaire, I do it by hand. And so it takes a lot of time for me to input it in, you know, this program, whereas I can just save it and look at it whenever I want. You know what I mean? There's little details like that. I still have to save some copies in paper. So to me, it just saves more time to just do it manually and still keep it like old school. And it keeps me more organized, you know? I just like it this way. Yeah.
So you still have, like your initial questionnaire, you still have to meet with your client.
Yes.
A lot of times in person, and that's when they
I fill it out.
Answer the questions for you.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
I fill it out because I mean, I don't want them to work. I don't want to put them to work in the first time that they meet me. So I do it myself and I write it down. I make my own notes. I can, you know, that way I read whatever I write. And I just save it. It allows me to remember where we met, when we met, you know, and little things like that, how they met. It's pretty cool.
What about per contract?
I'm sorry?
What about for their contract? How do you handle that?
So I do that online. It's this program called Sign Now. And I'm not kidding you. I paid $18 for 3 years. And it's so awesome. Because like I just go in there, I upload their contract, and it allows me to drag like a little bar where they have to fill things out, right? So I drag it corresponding to their names, and I do it the same thing for me. When I'm done, I sign it and it sends the email to my clients, and they sign with their phone, like with their finger. It's so easy. I love it. And the funniest thing is that I just saw a couple of venues here in Austin that are using the same program because it's super cheap and easy to use.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you had them like print it out and like fax it back to you, or.
No, I don't do that old school at all. Same thing with invoices, everything's online. But other than that, everything's on paper here. So my clients never see my old school habits. They always see the tech, which is great. But it still keeps me organized and, on top of things that way.
Okay. Well, that works for you. That's what matters most.
I also had another question, Amanda. So right now it's the laziest. I want to say not the laziest, but I haven't had a lot of inquiries come in this year as opposed to last year. And I think that it's because I did an increase of over $1,000 on my packages last year. So what I did was I decreased them again to what they were, when I had 35 weddings booked a year. And I still don't have any. Like, I'm still not booked as I was before. And so I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I mean, I'm still doing the same advertising with the Knot and Wedding Wire. I do want to get more weddings, especially now that we have the house and I have to, actually give my husband some type of money from my income, right? But so I see it. I'm scared of having to actually go and finding a part-time job because I don't have enough weddings to support us. I guess my question is is there anything else I should be doing, or advertising somewhere else, or what do you think?
How many weddings do you have? Are you booking for next year, for 2019?
Yeah. So my goal since I started my company was to have at least 30 weddings per year. And I've met that 30 to 35. I met that for the first 4 years. This year, I've only had 25, I believe, or 20. And for next year, I've only booked 3. So that's pretty scary to me.
What are your prices at? What does I guess I should say, what does a client typically spend with you?
About $2,000.
That seems like a lot of freaking weddings.
It was back in the day. It was awesome. But now, and it was great also because I was upgrading all my equipment, and now everything's upgraded. I have top of the line everything, and I have 1 weddings. So, I mean, what do I do now?
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say something, Amber, but that was your baby.
Well, I was, and then she said something, but then
Okay, go ahead.
So I was gonna let you talk first.
No, go ahead. What you're gonna say?
So the 2,000 would be for a wedding. Is that what you're shooting?
Right.
Okay.
I specialize in weddings, in low light weddings, night weddings, and that's kind of what I do.
How what would be the day coverage, hour wise, for the 2,000?
From 6 hours, I think. It's
okay. And is that before you raised your rates, or that's what they're back to now?
That's what they're back to, and that's what they were before.
Okay.
Yeah, that went up to 1,000. So I would be charging close to $3,000 for the same amount of coverage. And I did book some weddings, but I booked maybe 2 or 3.
How long did you have it? How long were you at your higher prices?
About 6 months, 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Just because I'm trying to think, right now, there's not a whole lot of people getting engaged and looking for a photographer. It's gearing up into where it's wedding season. Mm-hmm. But then once December comes around, New Year's, that's another, everybody is getting proposed to during the holidays. So I just feel maybe it's just because of the time of year that it was, without seeing like your work or anything. Because I did hear that you need to wait a good at least 6 months before changing your prices again, just because it does, like if I go and I check out your work and I see that you're at this price range, and say my wedding's not for another year, if I come back and you had jumped up, it might be, you know, a little bit of a shock, like, oh shoot, like she was in my price range, now she's not. So they're not going to come back, but you did change them back down. If you didn't like make an announcement about changing your prices, they're not going to know that you came back down to those prices, because they probably aren't going to come back to your website just to, you know, possibly see if your prices have gone back down, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
And then, and then I would just wait, because holidays are coming. That's when people are going to get engaged. And so it's going to be a big flux of, you know, booking things again, possibly for spring or summer, or even for next fall. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, 2,000 is pretty low, isn't it? For 6 hours of coverage?
I don't know.
I think it's moderate.
Moderate?
Mhm.
Okay.
It's not, you know,
Hi.
high ball or anything like that.
Okay. Because
Yes.
that's
Sorry.
it's
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that you're not going too low, that people are thinking, like, why is she only that much? Like, what's wrong with her? Like, what, you know, like, why is her pricing so much lower than other people in the area, you know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's that, it's called the dead zone, where your portfolio is up here, your gear is up here, and then your prices are down here. People aren't going to book because they're like, there's obviously something wrong that, you know, her prices are so low.
Yeah.
So,
See, that's what I was so afraid of. And the reason why my prices are so low, I mean, I've shot over 150 weddings, and I have the experience, I have the equipment, I have the portfolio, and my prices are really low because I want to book a lot of weddings. And so, but it's not happening. And I'm scared of raising my prices again.
I wouldn't, if I were you, what I would do is I would meet somewhere in the middle. Instead of going all the way $1,000 up, try just 500. Keep that for several months and then go up. I heard a rule of thumb is you're supposed to raise your prices $300 for every 3 weddings you book. So it's like $100 per wedding, because that's the experience that you're gaining for each one. But you don't want to constantly be changing your rate. So you want to keep it at, so if you book 3, then change your prices $300 instead of, it's like, oh, I booked one, let me raise my prices $100. Oh, I booked another one, another 100. So it's between 3 and 5. If you book 3 weddings, you could raise your price the $300, or if you book 5, go ahead and raise them that $500. And then the next 5, you can, as long as you're consistent about the way that you're raising them and consistently raising, instead of doing a big jump and then jumping back, I would think that it's more gradual, and it helps people kind of dip in instead of like cannonball into the pool. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I went with a weird pool metaphor there, and I don't think it worked.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I don't know.
There's a really good episode, and it's the best way that I've heard it explain it. It's similar to what Amber said. The podcast is called Brands That Book. And the episode there's not very many episodes, but
I love Brands That Book. P.S. Amanda. I just found them recently, and I've like been binging all of the episodes.
Yeah. What's the one that is really good? Hold on, I'm going to find it for you. There's not that many episodes, so. It's called Increasing Your Bottom Line by Diversifying Your Offers with Kat Schmoyer. It's episode 6. So Brands That Book episode, I'm going to put the Brands That Book episode 6.
Okay.
Which you can probably find it. Let me see if I can find the link so that you don't have to like go into your app. Let me see if I can find it so you can listen to it online, because she talks about this, and I think that the episode would be really beneficial for you.
Awesome. Also, I missed your stuff about, because I was leaving Liam at the bus, but I missed the stuff where you were talking about Facebook campaigns. Are you still doing those? Do you find those beneficial?
One, I dropped that link in there so you can listen to it online. It's episode 6, just so you know. It's in the chat box.
Thank you.
Are you talking about the Facebook ads?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so September 18th, Samantha Grant, I'm uploading a workshop that she did. It's pre-recorded, and she's going to be talking about how to run Facebook ads without using an opt-in. So the way she teaches it is getting leads through Facebook ads, and she goes in through the back of a Facebook manager, and she shows you how to set it up from beginning to end.
Nice.
And if you want to look her up, she has on the workshop replay page. She's a member of the Brand Gathering too. But if you go to the workshop replay page within the membership, you'll see her bio and her website. She's a Facebook ad strategist, and she's going to be the one that's dropping the workshop on September 18th. And that's the way that she does the way that she's going to be teaching you is how she does ads for her clients. So it's a way that I haven't heard taught. I've already watched the workshop, and it's a way that I haven't heard it taught, and I think that it's going to be really good for especially photographers, because that's who she primarily serves. So that's September 18th that workshop comes out.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's see. I bet you Holly went to go do something with her baby, and now Amber stepped away. There's about 15 more minutes left, and then we're going to hop off if anybody has any more questions. Oh, on here it's a different episode. Oh, hold on. I might have given you the wrong episode number. Oh, okay. No, episode 6, but it's 17 in the line. So if you're on that link.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's going to be episode 6, but it's number 17 on the line. It's the one with Kat Schmoyer. Listen to that. I think it'll be really helpful for you. Let me know if it is or not. But she talks about pricing in there, and she gave a similar example as to what Amber was saying.
All right, darling. I think I'm going to hop off and work on this stuff. But thank you so much for your time and helping me out.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you again. We got to get, together for coffee or something sometime.
Yeah, of course. Since we're both I think we're right down the road from one another now. Be sure to look on the calendar of events on the membership dashboard. I think there's something going on every Thursday this month. So if you want to put it in your calendar.
Yes, I will. For sure. All right, hon. I'll see you. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
And then there was just me with 2 blank screens. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. If y'all can hear me, I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. I'm going to stop the recording, and then the replay is going to be uploaded to the membership. And be sure to look in the calendar of events inside the membership next Thursday. Oh, there you are. Next Thursday is the workshop or the mini training going over a Facebook page and how to set that up and brand everything. And then I'll also be adding the mini training of how to set up OBS and connecting it to do a Facebook Live.
Yay, OBS.
I love OBS. It's actually, it's good because not only can you stream across like Facebook, but you can also record videos too. So, did you have more questions?
No, I didn't. So I just had a meltdown I had to go deal with. So I was actually fixing to pop on to say I have to pop off.
Okay, well, cool. No, I'm going to end it now. So the replay is going to be uploaded to the membership. So you can go back and watch what you missed at the beginning.
Great.
All right. Bye.